Have you ever stood up too quickly and felt the world tilt beneath your feet? Or perhaps you were simply walking through your home when suddenly it felt like the room began to spin, even though nothing around you had moved at all. For some, it's just a fleeting moment. For others, it's a warning sign, a quiet signal from the body that something deeper might be out of balance. As we age, these dizzy spells can become more than just an inconvenience. They can whisper of high blood pressure or cry out as vertigo. And while they may feel similar at first, their causes and consequences are very different. In this video, we'll explore 6 key differences between dizziness related to blood pressure and true vertigo, and more. Importantly, we'll talk about what can happen if we ignore them, because sometimes it's not just about feeling dizzy. It's about staying upright, staying independent, and staying safe. So, take a deep breath, sit comfortably, and let's gently uncover what your body might be trying to tell you. Number 1. The dizzy feeling may seem the same, but the spin tells a different story. Hello, dear seniors. Have you ever stood up and felt like your head floated away without permission? Or sat still in your favorite armchair, only to feel like the entire room decided to do a merry-go-round? Today, we're talking about something that confuses many people and often gets brushed aside with a chuckle or a shrug. The difference between dizziness caused by blood pressure and true vertigo. Now they might both make you feel wobbly, but oh, they dance to very different tunes. Dizziness from blood pressure usually feels light, fleeting, like your brain's taking a short holiday without telling you. It often comes when you get up too fast, after a hot bath, or if you've missed your blood pressure meds. Your body gently whispers, "Hold on, friend, I'm still catching up." Vertigo, on the other hand, well, that one doesn't whisper. It throws a party. It feels like you're on a boat in stormy waters. Even if you haven't left the sofa, the room spins, the floor shifts, and sometimes your stomach joins the rebellion. It's the kind of dizzy that makes you reach for the wall, not for dramatic effect, but because falling is no joke at our age. And yet, how often do we ignore it? We blame the weather, or say we just skipped lunch. But sometimes, our bodies are waving little red flags, and we pretend we didn't see them. The truth is, our bodies are like old radios, precious, full of memories, but they need tuning. When the signal gets fuzzy, it's not something to ignore. It's something to listen to. So let's not confuse apples with oranges. Just because they're both round, knowing the difference between these 2 types of dizziness isn't just helpful. It could save you from a fall, or something far worse. And that, my dear friends, is only the first of 6 things we'll explore today. So stay seated, keep that warm drink nearby, and let's gently move to the next piece of the puzzle, because your health deserves more than guesswork. Number 2. The triggers tell the tale. Let's talk about the things that set these dizzy spells off, because understanding the why behind each one can make all the difference. Now, dizziness caused by blood pressure, especially low blood pressure, usually has a sneaky little trigger. Sudden movement. You might feel fine sitting down, sipping tea, watching the birds outside, but then you stand up too quickly, and whoosh, your vision fades a little. Your knees go soft, and for a moment, you're not entirely sure where the floor went. This is often due to what's called orthostatic hypotension. Sounds fancy, but really it just means your blood pressure drops when you change position. Your heart is trying to keep up, like an old friend who's always a few steps behind. Now vertigo, that one plays a different game. It's not about standing up too fast. It can hit out of nowhere. You could be lying in bed, turning your head slightly on the pillow, and suddenly the ceiling starts doing cartwheels. Sometimes it's triggered by an inner ear issue, like benign paroxysmal positional vertigo. Again, another mouthful. But what it means is this: your balance center, deep inside your ear, is sending mixed messages to your brain. One's like, "We're standing." The other's like, "No, we're falling." And your poor brain just throws its hands up and spins the whole world to be safe. The key difference here is this: blood pressure-related dizziness usually has a pattern. It comes when you rise too quickly, or when you're dehydrated or skipping. Meds. Vertigo doesn't follow those rules. It can strike while you're completely still, like a surprise guest who shows up uninvited and brings nausea as a plus one. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Well, either way, I don't like it, and that's perfectly fair. But here's where we gently reflect. When we start noticing these patterns, or lack thereof, it helps us speak to our doctors with clearer words. Not, I feel dizzy sometimes, but I feel lightheaded when I stand up too fast, or I feel like the room spins when I turn my head to the right. See? That's the kind of detail that can lead to proper help. And when we communicate better, we heal better. It's not about complaining. It's about collaborating with our bodies. So, next time the world wobbles a little, take a moment, breathe, ask yourself, was it the stairs, the tea, or absolutely nothing at all? And then we move to part 3, where we explore how our ears and hearts might be having very different conversations behind our backs. If this video brought a smile to your face or warmed your heart, don't forget to tap the like button. Number 3, the ear and the heart. 2 bosses, 1 body. Now let's get into something rather poetic. If you think about it, dizziness, that odd, unsettling feeling, is often caused by either the ear or the heart. Strange, isn't it? The smallest part of us and the one that carries the heaviest load can both be behind that spinning sensation. Let's start with the ear. Inside our ears, not the part we put our glasses on, but deep inside, lives a tiny, marvelous system called the vestibular system. It's made of little canals filled with fluid and crystals. Yes, real crystals, like tiny grains of sand with purpose. These little wonders help us keep our balance. When we move our head, the fluid moves, the crystals shift, and the brain receives the message. All's well, Captain. We're tilting slightly to the left. But when those crystals get loose or move the wrong way, the brain panics. The message becomes Mayday. We're spinning, even if you're lying flat. Now compare that with the heart, or more precisely, the blood pressure system. When blood doesn't flow properly to the brain because pressure is too low, or the heart is beating too slowly or too fast, the brain starts to dim the lights. Not in a dramatic way, it just gently fades everything, like someone turning down a theater lamp. That's when you get that floaty, fainting feeling. So one type of dizziness is mechanical, like your inner compass is confused. The other is circulatory, like your power supply is flickering. Why does this matter? Because the treatments are different. If it's your inner ear, you might need special head movements called Epley maneuvers, or visit to a balance clinic. If it's your blood pressure, it could mean adjusting medication, eating more salt. Yes, sometimes that's allowed. Or drinking more fluids. Now, I know some of us come from a generation where you just deal with it. You'd fall, get up, and say, must be the weather, or it's just age. But let me say this clearly, dizziness is not just age. It's your body asking for attention. And if your ear and your heart are in disagreement, it's your job to step in and play referee, because no one else can feel what you feel, not even the cleverest doctor in the world, unless you tell them. So if your world starts spinning, remember this, you are not being dramatic. You are being observant. And in our golden years, wisdom isn't just about knowing more. It's about listening more, especially to our own bodies. Now, on to part 4, where we explore the danger of ignoring these symptoms and how small things like a little dizzy can lead to bigger problems if left unspoken. Number 4, when ignoring dizziness becomes a silent risk. Now here's the part many of us don't want to hear, but need to, because while dizziness might seem like just a small nuisance, like a creaky door or a wobbly table, it can quietly open the door to something far more serious. You see, dear seniors, when we feel dizzy, whether it's from blood pressure or vertigo, our body is trying to protect us. It's waving a little warning flag. But if we ignore it, that little flag can turn into a red alarm bell, and the consequences are often not kind. Let's start with the risk of falling. One misplaced step during a dizzy spell, just one, can mean a hip fracture, a broken wrist, or even a hospital stay that wasn't on your calendar. And we know how these things go. One fall leads to less movement, which leads to more weakness, which leads to, you guessed it, more falls. It's a quiet spiral, and one that starts with, I thought I'd be fine. But here's the thing, you deserve more than fine. You deserve to walk steady, to feel safe in your own kitchen, to turn your head without feeling like you're on a boat. Now when it comes to low blood pressure, if left unaddressed, it can mean your brain isn't getting enough oxygen. That doesn't just affect your balance, it can affect your memory, your energy, your mood. You might start feeling foggy, tired, or even depressed without realizing why. It's like living life with the dimmer switch turned down. And with vertigo, especially if it becomes frequent, it can affect your confidence. You stop going out. You stop turning your head too fast. You walk slower, hold on to furniture, say no to little adventures. Not because you want to, but because you're afraid. And that fear? It's heavy, heavier than we admit. So let's pause and reflect for a moment. If we can treat a dizzy spell early, or understand where it's coming from, we're not just preventing a fall, we're protecting our freedom, our confidence, and our precious, precious independence. You see, growing older doesn't mean shrinking your world. It means learning when to pay attention and knowing that your body isn't trying to betray you. It's trying to help. So don't silence that inner voice that says, that wasn't normal. Speak up, write it down. Tell your doctor or your daughter or the friendly chap at the clinic. Because your health is not a burden. It's a story worth telling. And now, let's move on to part 5, where we discover how to explain dizziness clearly to your doctor, so they don't just nod and send you home with vague advice. Number 5, how to talk to your doctor without sounding confused. All right, let's be honest. How many times have we sat in front of a doctor and said, I don't know, I just felt a bit off? We all do it. We try to stay polite. We don't want to sound dramatic. And sometimes we can't quite find the words. But here's the thing. If we don't describe dizziness clearly, doctors can't treat it properly. And then we leave the clinic with a smile, a vague prescription, and a lingering sense of, well, I guess I'll just wait and see. Let's not do that anymore. Let's learn how to talk about dizziness like detectives, calm, precise, and with just enough detail to help the doctor help us. Here are a few questions to ask yourself before the appointment. When did the dizziness start? Was it sudden or gradual? What were you doing when it began? Lying down, standing up, turning your head? Does the room feel like it's spinning? Or do you feel like you're about to faint? How long does it last? Seconds, minutes, hours? Do you feel nauseous, hear ringing in your ears, or have headaches with it? Now imagine telling your doctor this instead. Doctor, when I lie on my left side in bed, the room spins for about 10 seconds. It doesn't happen when I lie on the right. And I feel fine afterwards, just a bit rattled. That's music to a good doctor's ears. It points straight to a likely diagnosis. No guesswork needed. Or you might say, every time I stand up from the sofa too quickly, I feel lightheaded, like I might black out. But if I sit down again, it passes in a few seconds. That tells them, perhaps a blood pressure drop. See? It's not about sounding medical. It's about being observant. And if you're worried you'll forget, write it down. Better yet, bring someone with you. A daughter, a grandson, or even your neighbor who remembers everything. Let them. Take notes while you talk. 2 pairs of ears are better than 1, especially when one of them belongs to you. Remember, doctors are not magicians. They're not inside your head. They only know what you tell them. So give them the good stuff. The clues, the context, the timing. You'll be amazed how far a simple, clear story can go. In our next and final part, we'll wrap it all together and talk about how to stay steady, safe, and confident, even if the world around you wobbles now and then, because dizziness doesn't have to rule your life. Not if we pay attention, not if we speak up, and not if we remember that growing older means growing wiser, one wobble at a time. Number 6, a steady life, even when things wobble. So here we are, at the end of our little journey through the world of dizziness, spinning rooms and wobbly legs. And if you followed along this far, I want you to take a breath and give yourself a quiet round of applause, because most people just shrug these things off. You didn't. You stopped. You listened. You asked. That, dear seniors, is what strength looks like in this season of life. Now, let's gather what we've learned. We now know the difference between vertigo and low blood pressure. One comes from the ear, the other from the heart. One makes the room spin, the other makes the lights dim. We've learned that ignoring it can lead to real risks, not just falls and fractures, but fear, isolation, and a shrinking sense of confidence. We've explored how to talk to doctors, not with fancy words, but with honest details. And most of all, we've learned that feeling dizzy isn't a weakness. It's just the body saying, hey, something's off. Let's figure it out. Now here's a final thought. Life will always wobble a bit. Sometimes the floor feels uneven. Sometimes our footing isn't what it used to be. But steadiness doesn't come from perfect balance. It comes from knowing where to reach when things get shaky. Reach for your walking stick if you need it. Reach for your loved ones when you feel uncertain. Reach for knowledge, like this video, when your body sends you questions. And above all, reach inward, because you've made it this far through decades of love, loss, laughter, and late-night cups of tea. A little dizziness isn't going to knock you down, not when you're standing on a lifetime of wisdom. So here's to walking steadier, to asking questions without fear, and to never again calling it just age. Your body speaks. Listen closely, respond kindly, and remember, even when the world spins, you're still the center of it, with love and just a little laughter until next time. And so, dear friends, as we gently close the curtain on this little conversation, I hope something in today's story gave you comfort, clarity, or perhaps the courage to ask a new question. Dizziness may be a strange little visitor in our later years, but it doesn't have to be a mystery, and it certainly doesn't have to be a silent one. You have every right to understand your own body, to speak up with confidence, and to walk through your day with your head held high, even if it wobbles now and then. If this video helped you feel seen, or reminded you that you're never alone in this journey of growing older with grace, then we've done something beautiful today, together. We'd love to hear from you. What has your experience with dizziness been like? Has a small symptom ever led you to a big discovery? Leave a comment below. Let's create a space where wisdom is shared like warm tea. Give this video a like if it spoke to your heart. And if you'd like more videos like this, stories full of warmth, truth, and a touch of humor, don't forget to subscribe and tap the little bell so you never miss a moment. Share this with someone you care about, a friend, a neighbor, or that one cousin who always forgets where they put their glasses. Because sometimes the smallest reminders can make the biggest difference. From our little corner of care to yours, thank you for spending your time with us today. We see you, we appreciate you, and we're so very glad you're here. Until next time, take steady steps, hold on to the handrails when needed, and never be afraid to ask, why am I feeling this way? With warmth and wisdom always.